Welcome to the ArmaniTalks YouTube channel. I'm your host, ArmaniTalks. In this channel, I'm covering communication skills for you to level up your way with words and become much more articulate. In today's episode, I'm going to be explaining why your questions suck. There was this one day when one of my buddies hit me up and said, Armani, I have a speech coming up. I'm very nervous. Can you give me some tips? So he invites me to hang out with him, and this is a guy that I don't mind giving tips to, because when I didn't have a car, he would always give me rides. This was my time to help him out. So as we're sitting across from each other, I start to give him a lot of tips. I say, dress up for your speech. When you're looking at the audience, you don't have to look at everyone. Instead, just look at the most engaged members from the left, middle, and right, and just have conversations with them. I said, as you're practicing your speech, right before you're about to practice, do some push-ups. Get your heartbeat racing fast. And as it's racing fast, and now you're trying to give the talk, you're going to learn to coexist with the rapid heartbeat. So on speech day, if you're feeling very nervous, you've been there and done that. You can breathe through it. So I'm giving him all of this advice. He should be asking me some questions regarding what I'm telling him, right? But that's not what he does. Instead, after my long spiel, he looks at me and he asks, what'd you eat for breakfast today? What did I eat for breakfast today? What the hell does that have to do with anything, man? And when he did something like that, my perception of him dropped. I thought, number one, he was not paying attention to what I just said. And number two, what I just said was boring him for him to abruptly switch topics like that. See, if you ask questions in an interaction, you already are doing something good. Because a lot of individuals, when they're in an interaction, they don't have the social intelligence to ask questions back. They respond to questions, but they never ask it back. And they don't know how poor in taste this is. It's because the other person now is doing all the work. So if you're asking questions like this individual did, you're somewhat on the right track. But if you're going to ask questions, allow the questions to be great questions or better questions. And better questions are questions in context with the conversation. My buddy is what I call a question hopper. He goes from one topic to the next. While in this scenario, he should have done a thing called drill down questions. And a drill down question is when you stay on topic of whatever is being discussed, you choose of one of the points that stuck out to you, and you ask more questions about it. So when I was talking to this one buddy, one of the points I said is that you need to dress up for your speech. Now, if he was smart and he was doing drill down questions, here are a couple of the drill downs he could have asked me. Is fashion really that important? What do you wear, Armani? Can I steal your style? These are all questions that show that he's still receptive. He's listening to what I'm saying, and he's adding on his own twist. So drill down questions allow you to be much more engaging to the other person, and it deepens the conversation. So your questions suck because you're always question hopping. You need to drill down more. Now, one of the questions you may have now is question hopping always bad? Not quite. Question hopping every now and then is good because you guys are talking about a certain topic, and at a certain point, you guys have exhausted the conversation material for this particular topic. And now it's smart to ask a question from a completely different field. This is a smart use of question hopping. But other times, you just want to stay on topic. Don't be in such a rush to switch topics. This is one of the main reasons people question hop. Now, with drill down questions, I like to view it a lot like paraphrasing. Whenever someone tells me, yo, Armani, I struggle with listening skills, what are some tips? One of the easiest tips I have is paraphrase every now and then what the other person just said. Because when you paraphrase, you're being forced to listen. You're being forced to articulate their points from your own viewpoint. And number three is that you can tell if you fully understood something or you didn't. But if you're paraphrasing all the time, then it becomes annoying. We need to use our own judgment. We typically paraphrase complex, hairy conversation materials. And for small stuff like, how's your day going? Good. We let that go. We're not like, so from your words, you feel good. So it's like, yeah. Use your own judgment to focus on complex, hairy topics and paraphrase that. Now you may say, well, how do I know exactly when to drill down? My philosophy is very simple. If I am intrigued by something, I will drill down. There was this one time when I was talking to this guy and he's like, I never wear shorts. And a couple of minutes before, he was just talking about he lives in a very hot place and he loves to go hiking. That's when something just stood out to me. I said, wait a minute. You don't even wear shorts when you're hiking? And he shakes his head. But he shakes his head in a glowing way where it's like, or he's looking at me like, I'm actually really surprised you picked that up. I picked that up because it intrigued me and I was going in with the intention of doing some sort of drill down rather than consistently question hopping. So try this out for yourself. The next time you're in an interaction with someone, have one stint when you are drilling down on the questions. They bring up something and you go deeper, deeper, deeper. One person says, I just got done emceeing an event. You say, how long have you been emceeing for? The guy says, 5 years. Not to sound silly, but what's the difference between emceeing and speaking? Oh, an MC is the surface level guy, more so the glue guy, while the speaker talks about a topic in depth. Have you ever been a speaker? I've actually been a speaker for a long time. I decided recently to challenge myself by being an MC. You see how fluid this conversation is versus, what are you doing today? I just got done emceeing an event. What did you eat for breakfast? I went to this new brunch spot. What are you doing tonight? The second conversation, there's no harmony. There's a lot of conversations nowadays that are filled with clutter. So when there are a lot of conversations that are filled with clutter, use your questions to bring harmony in the interaction and immediately you will stick out. So if you enjoyed today's talk, go on and drop that like for me right on below and stay subscribed to the ArmaniTalks YouTube channel for more content on social skills. Thank you very much for joining the ArmaniTalks YouTube channel and I'll catch you next time.